व्यजानात् आनन्दात्येव खल्विमानि भूतानि जायन्ते आनन्देन जातानि जीवन्ति आनन्दं प्रयन्त्यभिसंविशन्तीति सैषा भार्गवी वारुणी विद्या परमे व्योमन् प्रतिष्ठिता य एवं वेद प्रतिष्ठति अन्नवानन्नादो भवति महान् भवति प्रजया पशुभिर्ब्रह्मवर्चसेन महान् कीर्त्या यो वेदादौ स्वरः प्रोक्तो वेदान्ते च प्रतिष्ठितः तस्य प्रकृतिलीनस्य यः परः स महेश्वरः। हर हर शङ्कर हर हर शङ्कर जय जय शङ्कर जय जय शङ्कर जय जय शङ्कर जय शङ्कर हर हर शङ्कर जय जय शङ्कर जय जय शङ्कर हर हर शङ्कर।
सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. Please accept our namaskaram, Swamiji. We are truly blessed to be in the banks of Ganga Maya, to be in the land where great saints have walked the path of sadhana, and most importantly, to come into Samparkam of Mahapurushas who have attained the ultimate Purushartham. Out of deep reverence to this timeless Guru Parampara and with your kind permission, Swamiji, I wish to share a few words about your extraordinary journey with my fellow sadhakas. Acharya Swami Hari Brahmendra Tirtha Ji, also the secretary of the trust, has been diligently teaching Vedanta for over 15 years after having studied and come to Uttarkashi from Kerala at the young age of 15, and at 16 years was initiated into Sannyasa Diksha through the guidance of Swami Brahmendra Tirtha Ji. Swamiji was born in December 1978 in Thiruvananthapuram, Kerala. In his childhood, he was guided by his guru Swami Brahmendra Tirtha in his spiritual journey. His guru hailed from Karnataka and was revered by his family members as well. As a child, he became an adept in puja system of worship of all-pervading divine because of the loving fatherly training imparted by Acharya Yoganandanath Ji. In April 1994, after finishing school, Swamiji started his journey to the Himalayas and reached Uttarkashi. This is where he met his first Acharya, Swami Chaitanyananda Saraswati Ji Maharaj, with whom he started his study of scriptures. He also received his sannyasa diksha from Swami Chaitanyananda Ji in the name of his guru, Swami Brahmendra Tirtha. Swami Chaitanyananda Saraswati Ji Maharaj was a direct disciple of Swami Shivananda Ji Maharaj of Rishikesh and studied the scriptures directly from the famed Tapovan Maharaj Ji. In 1998, when Swami Vishnu Tirtha Ji Maharaj came to stay at Kailash Ashram, Swamiji had the opportunity to study other scriptures as Siddhanta Kaumudi, Nyaya, Tarka, Vaisheshika Darshana, Mimamsa Darshana, and other Darshana Shastras. Swamiji also had the good fortune of studying with other Acharyas, Swami Chaitanya Puri, who was the disciple of Swami Ganeshananda Puri Ji of Sadhana Sadan, Haridwar, and Swami Paramananda Bharati of Sringeri Mutt. Studying with these Acharyas, Swamiji mastered a wide range of scriptures and spiritual practices with corresponding insight into allied fields such as Buddhism, psychology, and quantum physics. With his minimal formal education, Swamiji has a formidable insight into latest scientific developments. As a child, Swamiji learnt yoga from his father and grandfather. The reason for his undying love for yoga, Yoga Darshana, and Sankhya Darshana stems from his studies and personal experiences in the field. The quest for answers for the many knotty questions that arose from the subsequent studies of Yoga Sutra led him to a great master hidden in a remote place unbeknown to the world at large. The ashram of this peerless master of yoga, Vashi Yogamani Yetan, who always shunned limelight and fame, is situated in Vilayodi, Kerala. This recluse not only taught a special form of pranayama to our Swamiji, but also provided answers to all the hitherto lingering questions about yoga, about the vast repertoire of his experiential and scriptural knowledge, where the answers were beyond the ken of pedantic speakers, authors, or their books. In 2003, at the age of 24, Swamiji took up teaching on his Acharya's instructions. He taught at Shivananda Ashram Ujjaili till 2010. Ever since, he has been teaching at the Adi Shankara Brahma Vidyapith. From an early age, Swamiji developed writing as a hobby, and since he had studied Sanskrit in school, he could learn to read and write in Sanskrit easily. This led him to author various books, some of which he wrote making use of his teaching notes. He has authored books on Patanjali Yoga Darshana, Yoga Pradipika, Sankhya Karika, and others. Swamiji's vision is to produce books pertaining to our ancient traditions. Adi Shankara Brahma Vidyapith is publishing the complete works of Shankaracharya titled Shankara Saraswata Sarvasvam in 18 volumes, out of which 5 volumes are already released. Swamiji has been overseeing the editorial aspect of production of the volumes. Today, through his teachings, writings, and scholarly work, he continues to inspire countless seekers. Swamiji, we offer our prostrations to you. Thank you for giving us your sanidhyam. Please bless us that we continue to progress towards claiming our moksha purushartha.
Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. இங்கே வச்சுட்டு இருக்கோம். अनेक कोटि नमस्कारम स्वामी जी की बाल्य अवस्थाल குழந்தைகள் எந்த விஷயத்தை நாடும் எவ்வாறு குழந்தைகள் எந்த விஷயத்தை வந்து பின்னாடி போகும்ங்கிறது நமக்கு தெரியும். நாம படிச்ச கதைகள்ல ஒரு சின்ன பால்யன் ஒரு பூர்ண நதியில ஸ்நானம் செய்து அங்கிருந்து வீட்டை விட்டு நாட்டுக்காக சாஸ்திரத்துக்காக நர்மத தீரத்திற்கு அங்கிருந்து வந்தவர் ஸ்ரீ ஆதிசங்கர பகவத் பாதா. அது ஒரு கால் நமக்கு அது வந்து ஒரு ஸ்டோரியாக நமக்கு அது தோணலாம். ஆனா இந்த காலத்துல 21ஆம் 22ஆம் 21st 22nd செஞ்சுரியில அதே கேரள நாட்டிலிருந்து அதே பால்ய அவஸ்தால அதே தருண வயசுல இதே விஷயத்திற்காக அந்த பகவத் பாதால் வந்த வழியிலேயே வந்து இந்த கங்கை கரைக்கும் ரிஷிகேஷுக்கும் உத்தரகாசிக்கும் வந்து தன்னுடைய மொத்த வாழ்க்கையும் வந்து வேதத்துக்காகவும் சாஸ்திரத்துக்காகவும் சமர்ப்பணித்து அவருக்கு அது ரொம்ப முக்கியம் இல்லை. அவர் படிச்சு கிளாஸ் எடுக்க ஆரம்பிச்சு இப்போ சில்வர் ஜூப்ளின்னு நினைக்கிறேன் சுவாமிஜி. வெரி மச். 25 வருஷமா இந்த வேத விஷயத்தை வந்து இவ்வளவு பேருக்கு சொல்லி கொடுத்திருக்கணும், எவ்வளவு தடவை பிரஸ்தான திரயத்தை சொல்லி கொடுத்து முடிச்சிருக்கணும், எவ்வளோ சாதகர்கள் வந்து நோக்கி போயிருக்கணும். இது வந்து ரொம்ப நமக்கு ரொம்ப பெருமிதமான விஷயம். இப்பேற்பட்ட மகான்கள் நம்ம இடத்தில் வந்து அவ வந்து நமக்கு அனுகிரகம் பண்ணிக்கிறதுங்க வந்து அந்த கருணா கட்டாட்சம் நமக்கு பரிபூர்ணமா கிடைக்கிறது. அதனால இது சாட்சாத் பகவத் பாதாளுடைய அந்த பரம்பராவுடைய ஒரு பாத ஸ்பர்ஷம் தான் இன்னைக்குன்னு நான் வந்து நினைக்கிறேன். ரெண்டாவது வந்து இவ்வளவு விஷயம் தெரியாத வயசுல ஒரு 7-8 வருஷம் முன்னாடி சுவாமிஜி, உங்களுக்கு ஐ திங்க் யூ வில் ரிமெம்பர், அங்க வந்து இங்க பஜகோவிந்தம் படிக்கிறதுக்காக வந்தோம் என்னுடைய குருநாதர் ஸ்ரீ சுவாமி பிரம்ம யோகானந்தாவுடன். அப்போ அங்க முதல் கிளாஸ் வந்து அங்க தப்போவன் குட்டீர்ல அந்த சின்ன சத்சங் ஹால்ல அந்த இனாகுரேஷன் வந்து சுவாமிஜி தான் பண்ணி வச்சா. நல்லாவே கிளாப் அடிக்கலாம். அப்போ கொஞ்சம் சுவாமிஜியோட பரிச்சயம், ரொம்ப பேச முடியல. அப்ப சுவாமிஜி ஹிந்தியில தான் பேசினா. அப்ப வந்து நாங்க வந்து அந்த ஹிந்தியில எல்லாரும் சென்னையில இருந்து இதுல இருந்து வந்தவா, அதனால அதை டிரான்ஸ்லேட் பண்ணி அவருடைய அந்த பாஷணத்தை புரிஞ்சுட்டோம். அப்பவே படிக்கிற காலத்திலே சுவாமிஜியோடைய அனுகிரகம் கிடைச்சு, இப்போ ஈஸ்வர அனுகிரகம் குரு கிருபா நாம இங்க படிக்க வந்திருக்கும் போதும் எப்படி அந்த அவ்வளோ வருஷங்கள் முன்னாடி எப்படி அந்த வீடு எப்படி இருந்ததோ, அவருடைய குட்டியா எப்படி இருக்கிறதோ, இப்பவும் அப்படியே இருந்துட்டு அவருடைய இடம் பார்த்தேன்னா சுத்தி வர புஸ்தகம். நேற்றுக்கு அவருடைய குட்டியாக்கு போகும்போது அவருக்கு தெரியாம ஒண்ணு கவனிச்சது என்னன்னு சொன்னா, சுவாமிஜியோட டேபிள்ல சாங்கிய தர்சனத்துடைய விவரம் அங்க இருந்திருக்கு, புஸ்தகம் இருக்கு. அதை விட சுவாமிஜியோடைய இப்போ பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கார். அப்புறம் சொன்னார், இந்த மாதிரி சங்கர பாஷ்யம் கிளாஸ் எல்லாம் எடுத்துட்டு இருக்கேன், ஆங்கிலத்துல எடுக்கிறேன், முக்கியமா மலையாளத்துல கிளாஸ் எடுக்கிறேன், ஹிந்தியில கிளாஸ் எடுத்துட்டு இருக்கேன், பாஷ்யம்லாம் சம்ஸ்கிருதத்திலே எடுக்கிறேன், நிறைய இடத்துல எடுத்துட்டு இருக்கேன்னு ரொம்ப அவரே நிறைய விஷயங்கள் அறிமுகப்படுத்தி சொல்லிண்டார் சுவாமிஜி. சொன்ன உடனே அதுக்கு என்ன, நான் வந்துடுறேனே, ஐ வில் கம், आपको किस भाषा में बोलना है, அவளுக்கு சம்ஸ்கிருதம் வருமா தமிழ் வருமா என்ன வரும் அப்படின்னு, நம்ம நீங்க என்ன பேசுவேல் அப்படி கேட்டார். நாங்க தமிழ் தான் சுவாமிஜி, ஆனா நான் வந்து இதெல்லாம் பேசுவேன்னு தமிழ்லயே பேசினார் எங்கள்கிட்ட. அப்புறம் கிளாஸ் எடுக்கணும் இந்த மாதிரி சொல்லணும் சொல்லும்போது, சரி நான் எல்லாம் கலந்து நான் வந்து பேசி சொல்றேன் அப்படின்னு, என்னெல்லாம் படிக்கிறோம் எப்படி படிக்கிறோம் எல்லாமே கேட்டுண்டார் சுவாமிஜி. அப்படி பரம கருணா கட்டாட்சம் அவர் இங்க வந்து நம்ம இடையிலே வந்து நமக்காக அனுகிரகம் பண்ணுறதுங்கிறது வந்து சும்மாவே ஏதோ நம்மளுடைய சுகிருத்தம், நம்மளுடைய பாக்கியம் தான். அதனால அவருடைய பாதார விந்தத்தில் அநேக கோட்டி நமஸ்காரத்தை பண்ணிண்டு, சாட்சாத் பகவத் பாதால் சதாசிவ சமாரம்பாம் சங்கராச்சாரிய மத்தியமாம் என்னுடைய குருநாதர் மட்டும், நம்மளுடைய குருநாதர் மட்டும் அவருடைய பாதாரண்யத்தில் அந்த பாவனையோட நம்ம அவருக்கு இப்போ அவர் அக்செப்ட் பண்ணிக்கணும். சுவாமிஜி ப்ளீஸ் அக்செப்ட் அவர் ப்ராஸ்ட்ரேஷன்ஸ், அவர் மரியாதா டு யூ ப்ளீஸ். கொண்டு வா.
सर्वविद्यानां विषजे भवरोगिणां गुरवे सर्वलोकानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ नमः प्रणवार्ताय शुद्धज्ञानैकमूर्तये निर्मलाय प्रशान्ताय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। श्री सद्गुरु चरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। अनेक कोटि प्रदक्षिण नमस्कारान् समर्पयामि।
श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्य कृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः एरिमे गुरुभिः पूर्वं पदवाक्यप्रमाणतः व्याख्यादा सर्ववेदान्त तान्नित्यं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम् तान्नित्यं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम् श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम् ओम नमो नारायणाय I'm very happy to be here in this occasion. You see, the karma what we discuss always leads us to the place where those karmas fructification is situated. So according to the Shastra, for the experience of karma, we need to find desha kala. So the karma and desha kala works together and get the result as according to the karma. So this study which you are completing now is called Prasthanatraya. So this is because you had a big, huge punya behind this. And slowly that punya was giving its result in different places. And now you reached here in Uttarakashi, where our Guru Parampara Acharyas stayed, did their tapasya, swadhyaya, study, teachings, and now you reached the same place. So this is the sampradaya, no? What we call as sampradaya, the blessings of sampradaya. So your masters, or all traditional masters, acharyas, who stayed here, they called you actually. Because we are all No, like small drops. We got small drops of their knowledge. They blessed us. So this is how karma works. It is very clear now. You know it. And sitting here and studying the same Shastra which your gurus learned in the same place, it makes much difference. It is going to stay in you, and definitely it will give the complete result of the study. Because this Uttarakashi, we know the tradition here. Param Puja Tapovana Guruji Maharaj, then his disciple Swami, Param Puja Swami Chinmayananda Saraswati Ji Maharaj, Chinmaya Mission, the whole Chinmaya Mission started from here. And now the lineage came, no, one after another. So you reached here. So I am, and now I feel that oneness, no, being with you. So I do pranams, salutations to our Guru Parambara. So I pray that they bless you for to realize the ultimate truth as Brahman, Brahmajnana. So that is the final Purushartha. Now, the subject just I want to share with you, as mentioned by your Acharya, is different experiences of aham, ahankara. So ahankara has all the three forms, or in other words we can say ahankara changes according to your consciousness. So normally we call it as ahankara, ego. That is individuality, personality. That ahankara isolates you from others. That ahankara makes you a separate individuality and separate experiences physically, mentally, intellectually. You will not think of others. You will only think of you. That's the ahankara, individuality. So there is no space for other living beings even. So we always think about our own existence, our own happiness, and all other emotional feelings, etc. So this is called individual ahankara, is called jivatva. As I said, this ahankara is sarva anartha hetuhu. So Bhagavad Shankaracharya says in his Gita Bhashyam, Ahankaro hi sarva anartha hetuho. So this ahankara is the cause of, the root of all the sorrow, all the samsara, all the problems. So now, this ahankara, especially it has bodily identification, physical identification, as I am a human being, male, female, and then I am a Brahmin, I am a Kshatriya, I am this and that, so on. So all this identification is strengthened, centralized by this ahankara. So this ahankara is controlling all these activities. This we know. Where Bhagavan says, Yad ahankaram ashritya na yotsya iti manyase mithyesha vyavasayaste prakritistvam niyokshati. There the ahankara is mentioned, is particularly this ahankara. Because even after listening to the words, the upadesha of Bhagavan directly from Bhagavan, Bhagavan is putting a doubt there. Yat ahankaram ashritya na yotsya iti manyate. So you are saying that, Arjuna was saying that I will not go for this war. I want to withdraw from this war and go to the forest and do some tapasya and some penance there. Bhakshacharyam. So this is the ahankara, because there Arjuna is thinking himself as a total individual. The total individual who has the relations with others like his friends, his relatives, his gurus, all who are there in that war. So he made that identification very strong. Therefore he felt, I should go away from this war because these are my relatives, pitaraha, putraha, pitamahaha, so they are all going to die. So he had that relationship. Now how he is thinking about, he is not thinking about dharma. Because dharma is not individual. It's not for a person. Dharma is for the society. Dharma is universal. Dharma is protecting the creation as well as whatever creatures, whatever there in this creation. Dharma is protecting everything. So therefore, he is not thinking about that dharma, he is only thinking about his individual relation with others. Therefore, after the Upadesha also, Bhagavan himself had a doubt. Listening to all this, he may not accept his Upadesha and take the war. So, yata hankaram ashritya na yotsya iti manyase. Mithyesha vyavasayaste. This decision, vyavasaya means his decision. He took that decision, he was thinking about that. Mithya, it is false. It is untrue. It is unfitting for your duties as Kshatriya. So mithyesha vyavasayaste. Prakritistvam niyokshati. So you have no control over your prakriti. You cannot control your prakriti. The prakriti, it means by birth, Arjuna is a Kshatriya. Not only that, the whole life he practiced war, fighting. So now, this become his prakriti. He never thought about doing meditation or something like that. But he only practiced weapons. Now, who practiced weapons for whole life, from his young age, from his childhood, how can he leave off and go for the Viksha and do meditation in the cave? If he goes there, what would happen to him? He will be sitting in the posture of meditation, but thinking of the war, the weapons, how it should be used, how it's going to be. So he will be planning that because his brain is wired like that. So this is an important point where we should understand how we should bring up a child from his young age. So by birth, that child may have some qualities, inborn qualities, according to the our parents and their what you say DNA and all those. But we should train the child with the aim what we want he become. So accordingly we should train. That training will affect when he become graduate, youth, like that. So that will come to him. So therefore, in our tradition, Sanatana Dharma, Sanatana Vaidika Dharma, we have the custom of this, training child after Diksha. So this is because he will get that sanskara in him. Whenever it is needed, it will come to him. He may go after that, he may go to school and study other subject. He will do that. He can do that. But this sanskara you have given in the childhood will appear whenever he need that. So this is very important for us. So this ahankara, which make the individuality stronger, that is ahankara we called as jivatvam. Jivatvam. Now you know, you have studied this. Andakarana pradivambidam chaitanyam jivaha. So this is the simpler definition given in our Vedantic textbooks. Andakarana pradivambidam chaitanyam jivaha. What is jiva? The individual consciousness, that is the reflection of cosmic consciousness, Brahman, the reflection of Brahman, where on Andakarana. So according to the Andakarana, the reflection works. Now actually, Brahma has no role. It is akarta, asanko hyayam purusha. It is not going to do anything. But by the reflection of Chaitanyam, ahankara gets the strength. Mind gets the strength. Mind become conscious. It become consciousness. It can work with consciousness. Actually, mind is not consciousness, it's jada. But by this reflection theory, mind gets consciousness. So That is the individuality we call as jiva. So now we identify ourselves. When I say I am sitting, I am writing, I am talking, I am eating. So this I am where we are using is this particular identification, the reflected consciousness. So reflected consciousness is jiva. So jiva has actually no individual reality. Therefore, in Vedanta, you remember that. In Vedanta, jiva is not a product. Jiva is not a product like pot or cloth or anything like that. Jiva is not a karyam. The relationship between jivatma and paramatma, the cosmic consciousness and individual consciousness, is the relation is reflection. There is a reflection theory applied. Simple theory. There are another theories also. Avachedavada, Abhasavada is also there. But this is very simple. Pratibimbavada. According to Panchapadika or Padmavata and Vivarana, we are easily we can understand. Okay. So now this reflection, since it is reflection, we can call it unreal, because no reflection can be real. There is no need to call that as real. So therefore, this Jivatma is not a product of Paramatma. Jivatma is not a part of Paramatma. Amsha is not a part, not a avayava. Jivatma, Paramatma itself, or Paramatma himself becomes Jivatma by reflection. When sun is reflected in a pot with water, so the pot will hold sun. You will see sun inside the pot. So what you see is not different from sun, but it's seemingly different. It's acting as different. So this is our individuality. Now you just think, how can you identify yourself with this reflected consciousness? How can you make and say that I am this body and mind? Once you understand this body, mind, condition and everything as reflection, and it's a reflected consciousness, it cannot be real, it's completely unreal. Then how can you make this ahankara stronger? So this is the question asked. Now, it is actually, thank you. Actually, though this ahankara, this reflected consciousness has no individual entity, it is not an individual entity, but it works as individual entity. That is ajnanam. That is the problem we had. Why we should act individually? Because it cannot be proved individually. Why we should act as jiva individually? So there Bhagavad Pada Bhashyakara says, Hankaro hi sarva anartha hetu. So therefore, because we are acting individually, we are creating new karmas and everything new, and separation from others. We always think we are separated. I am separated from others. So this I-ness, this individuality is called ahankara. That ahankara is sarva anartha hetu. Okay, so now then comes the aham brahmasmi. Now we will keep this point here and then conclude with the result at the end. So now the second one is Aham Brahmasmi. So there also we say Aham. I am that Brahma. Aham Brahma Asmi. And in Gita, Bhagavad Gita, you can see many places Bhagavan identified himself with this Brahman and say Aham. And Gita, this Bhagavan identified himself with the Aham Brahma and then say, I create everything, I am everywhere, all those things. And in some places, he separate from this and say, Aham vivasvade yogan proktavan aham avyam vivasvan manave praham anurikshagave abravit. And he is teaching Arjuna, then he is identifying himself. And in the 10th chapter, there as Hiranyagarbha, he is identifying with Hiranyagarbha and say, whatever you see, Adyad Vibhudi Matsattvam Simadurjidameva Tatyeva Vagashchatvam Mama Tejo Amsha Sambhava. So there he says, Mama Teja Amsha. All these are small parts of my own entity, my own Teja, my own consciousness. So from this point, all Dvaitins, they get some pramana. Mameva amsho jiva loke. So the amsha, the word amsha is used. So this because according to the Hiranyagarbha, when we contemplate on Hiranyagarbha, the universal subtle body, Hiranyagarbha, no, you know this, Samashti Sukshma Sharira. So when we identify with that, the Sukshma Sharira has many Sukshma Shariras. It is a multiple Sukshma Sharira, universal Sukshma Sharira. So it is in that Sukshma Sharira, there are all other Sukshma Shariras. So that is inclusive. Therefore, it is universal Sukshma Sharira. So there are individual Sukshma Shariras. Now there, when we call it individual Sukshma Sharira and universal Sukshma Sharira, Hiranyagarbha and Sukshma Sharira, there we have this part thinking. Thus the point is, beyond that we don't think about parts. But when Bhagavan identifies himself with Sukshma Sharira, because in Ekadasha Adhyaya, Dashama Adhyaya, there and Navama Adhyaya also some shloka, in 7th chapter also some shloka, Bhagavan identifies himself as Vaishwanara Purusha. Sahasraja Purusha. So the Vaishwanara Purusha has all the parts. So whatever there, Sahasra Shirsha, Sahasra Hastaha, Sahasrakshaha. So there they count as parts. So the Dvaitins, they were confused with the Hiranyagarbha universal Sushma Sharira and the ultimate consciousness. So then consciousness as we take as Brahman, Shuddha Brahma has no parts. Niravayavaha, Nirvishesha, Nirgunaha. So it has no parts. But here when it's manifested as in the form of Hiranyagarbha, for our sake of understanding, actually it is Hiranyagarbha is, we got a methodologically we have to accept Hiranyagarbha. So we accept it, Hiranyagarbha and Vaishwanara, Virat and all those. So there they have parts. Then the Vibhuti is there. Then in Vishwarupa Darshanam, when we see Vishwarupa Darshanam, everything is there. How Bhagavan could include all whatever it's created? Because in Virat Rupam and Vaishwanara Rupa and Hiranyagarbha, we can imagine parts there. So there we can say imaginary parts are there. Therefore, it is called universal, collective Sushma Sharira, collective Sthula Sharira. Now you see how the Ahankara changes. This is our point. Now the normal Ahankara which was identified with his body, physical body and things, now that physical identification changed into universal Hiranyagarbha identification. This is the main discussion in most of the Upanishad that you have studied, like Chandogya Upanishad, Bruhadaranyaka Upanishad, and you can see that Hiranya Samashti Veshti connection. Actually, from the Sandhya Vandanam, no, from the beginning, whatever we do is for this purpose only. Changing our individual identification into universal identification. Therefore, we know each Indriya we pray like touch and then pray mantra for the gods who are there, devatas. So now you see, if you are practicing that, one day you will definitely think, I have this body, now all devatas are sitting in me. How is possible? So this is the Vishwarupa Darshana. So every day you are doing that. But unfortunately, we have no background of Vedantic thoughts. So we are not ready to identify that. Actually, that is what Vishwarupa is doing this. So through that, the message of Vedanta is, you don't think that you are this body. Your body is a collective form of these devatas. They are supporting you. Now Surya Chaktushi, if you think that the Surya Devata, Aditya Devata is supporting my eyesight. So you have a different feeling there. No, you don't think this, my eyesight is my eyesight, but that's what you see, the Golakam, that is yours. That is your body. For time's sake, we accept that. But the sight inside, eyesight, that is not yours. You have no control over that. It is the blessings of Aditya. So like this individual Ahankara changes into the universal Ahankara. Slowly it is moving like that. I will connect with the Upanishad on this contest. You have studied Chandogya Upanishad. The 6th chapter of Chandogya Upanishad starts with Sadvidya, then Tattvamasi. After 8th Khanda, you will have Tattvamasi. But in the 5th chapter, the last part of 5th chapter is Vaishvanara Vidya. There you have Panchagni Vidya and Vaishvanara Vidya, where the Achamanam about Pranaya Swaha, Panaya Swaha, Pranastripyadi, Apanastripyadi, those are there. There you see the Bhashyam for 5th chapter and 6th chapter. The introduction Bhashyam of 6th chapter, if you see in Chandogya Upanishad, Bhashyakara Bhagavad-pada Shankaracharya says, you need a upasana, something like Vaishwanara Upasana, to understand the Sadvidya and Tattvamasi. So there, Bhashyakara connects the Upasana and Vedantic Tattvamasi Mahavakya knowledge. Why? Because this Vaishwanara Upasana is a Upasana. It's a Kriya. It's a practice. Like we do Sandhya every day, that is a practice. It's a Upasana. But after this, when you enter into 6th chapter, it's purely Vedanta. Now, what is the role of the Upasana described in 5th chapter, and what that 5th chapter Upasana is contributing to the 6th chapter? This is the connection there. There beautifully Bhagavad-pada Shankaracharya says, one who has practiced this Vaishwanara Upasana can easily grasp the Sadvidya as Tattvamasi Ekatma Jnanam. because you are preparing your mind from this individual identification to the universal identification. Every day, that is what I said. Every day we are doing that. If you are consciously doing this, you can easily get Vedantic experience. Therefore, all these Brahmanical practices, what we do, is for the last achievement of that is the Sandhya Vandanam, Puja, and all Aradhanas, everything. Last achievement is Moksha, Purushartha, Aham Brahmasmi experience. That is what Manusmriti says. So Brahma Janati iti. So when he experienced that Brahman, so who is that? He is practicing that. He is on the way. He is practicing through that. So at last he will reach there and experience the Brahman. So in between karma, japa, tapa, anusthana, upasana, in those upasanas, we have karma avabadha upasana. Some upasanas are connected with karma. You need karma as well as upasana. For example, Udgita upasana. In same Chandogya Upanishad, first chapter we have Udgita upasana. Udgita upasana is karma avabadha upasana because it is a Samaveda karma. Udgita Ganam is a Samaveda karma. So in Soma Yaga and all other Yaga, we have Samagana. So with the Samagana, who can do Samagana, with the Samavedin can practice that Udgita Upasana. Who is not Samavedi, who cannot chant Udgita, he cannot practice that Upasana. Therefore, it is connected to karma, though we call it Karma Avabadha Upasana. And we have another upasanas like Abhyudaya upasanas. Abhyudaya upasana for other things. No, you will not Dhanam, Putra, and Yashas, Kirti, Brahmavarchas, no, all those. All Abhyudaya upasana. Then the third one is Ahangraha upasana. That is important. So here this Vaishwanara Vidya is a part of Ahangraha upasana. So he himself is identifying with the universe. Ahamasmi bhagavo devate, aham tatsvamasi bhagavo devate, yo vasavaso purushaha sohamasmi in Ishavasya Upanishad. So this is Ahankara Upasana. There what happens? There is no separation of Upasya and Upasaka. So Upasaka, the practitioner is identifying himself with the Upasya Devata. So Aham Tvamasi Bhagavo Devate. Tvam cha Ahamasmi Bhagavo Devata. This is the real bhakti. This is the last stage of bhakti where the bhakta become Upasya, one with the Upasya. You see, all these are there in the Shastra Vaidika. How can you say there is a separation of Upasya and Upasaka and Dvaitam and all those? And you know this, there is a beautiful sloka in Ramayana by Hanumanji. Deha drishyadu dasoham, jiva drishyadu tamshakaha, vastudastu tvamevaham idi nischidamati. Idi me nischidamati. You see, Hanumanji himself says, to whom? To Ramji himself. He is asking and he is saying that, you see, I am not a dasa. I am not dasa as a, physically I am a dasa to you. Deha drishtya to dasosmi. Jiva drishtya todamshaha. As I said, when Hiranyagarbha and Jiva drishti as a part of you. But vastu dastu tattva drishtya to tvameva aham iti me nischita mati. So this I know. And if you see in Bhagavatam, their gopis also, they had the same experience. Because the Gopika Geetam, Nakhalu Gopika Nandano Bhavan Akhila Dehinam Andaratma Drik. So you see, this is the experience of gopis. This is a Brahmajnana. Nakhalu Gopika Nandano Bhavan Akhila Dehinam Andaratmadrik. We know that you are all pervading Brahman. But for our happiness, to make us enjoyable, or make us satisfied, you become individual. So you took avatara and playing all this game for our satisfaction. So this is the knowledge. Now you see the individuality become non-individual. So this is the connection with the upasana and brahmajnana. So now the individual ahankara loses its strength when it is diluted with others. It's a part of that. Now you can see a family when you in a grahastha ashrama. So grahastha ashrama, you have this identification with the body. I am so and so and all this, and you have identification with your family. If something happened to your wife or children, you feel that it happened to yourself. So this identification with the family. Then you have identification with your friends and your relatives. Slowly, the identification goes wide, moves like that. So if you think that whole creation is your kudumbak, vasudhaiva kudumbakam, the same thing you will feel everywhere. Is my relatives, they are all my family. So this is called Vaishwanara Vidya. Bhagavan had this Vaishwanara Vidya, so he could say, Yadyad vibhudimat sattvam srivadam urjidameva va sarvada panipadam tat sarvadokshi shiromukham. So Arjuna praised him like that. So this is Vaishwanara Vidya there. So in Mahabharata we can see that. Now this is a big change. After this, once this experience of Hiranyagarbha completes, you reach there, you feel all are there and I am also there. Now you see little difference. See the language. All individuals are there. I am also there. And these individuals are connected to me. I am connected to them. This is how we can express that. So now here I am saying all individuals are there. I am also there. I am connected to them and they are connected to me. This Bhagavan also said in Gita, same thing. Mastani sarva bhutani. So this experience is another level of ahankara. Here also ahankara is there, but this is a higher level of ahankara. If you practice this and you stay there, then the result will be Brahmaloka Prapti. Up to there you can reach. Where? Brahmaloka Prapti. Why? Because Brahmaji has, Hiranyagarbha's Brahmaji, we call it as Pauranik Drishtya. So Brahmaji has this identification. Brahmaji, what he thinks, this is my family, this is my children, I created them. So I have the identification with. So this is called, we call it as Krama Mukti. If you are a mumukshu, then you will get that knowledge from there and you leave. This is another thing. And the third one, the last one, that's ahankara. That is the main aham brahmasmi. See, if you want to know this, you read the fourth Brahmana, first chapter, fourth Brahmana, 10th Brahmana Khandika of Bruhadaranyaka Upanishad, where aham brahmasmi comes. Yat sarvam bhavishyanto manushyaha manyante. So after knowing this, the manushya, the jijnasu sadhaka, they declare or they think, sarvam bhavishyantaha. We become everything. I become all pervert. So, what is that knowledge? So, that knowledge is Aham Brahmasmi Tattvamasi. That is the real experience of that. Now, what will be the difference? The difference is in the second one, the first one is a normal thing, identification of the body and individuality, reflection theory, Jivatma and all those. Now he came to the level of Hiranyagarbha, where he thought, I am everywhere and they are all in me. That's what. And here, in the Hambramasmi, his experience will be, I am alone. Anyat kopi nasti. Yatra hi doidam iva bhavati tadidaraitaram pashyati. Yatra sarvamatmaiva bhut. Tat kenakam pashyet, kenakam jigret, kenakam vijaniyat. So yatra sarvam atmaiva bhut. There he will not say, I am everywhere and all those are within me. You know why he cannot say that? Because in that stage, there is no objectification. There is no object as separate from the subject. There the seer and seen is the same. So in that experience, as this pot cannot say, I am pot different from mud. It cannot say. If you see mud there, you cannot say there is a pot different from mud. So you see your perception is pot, but you see mud only. There is no perceiving of pot. Their perception is mud. So the mind changes. Then when mind changes, the perception and experiences changes. So from that point of view, Aham Brahmasmi, there is no separate entity which can be objectified or separated from the receiver, from the subject. Therefore, Brahmasmi. So whatever you see as individuals as physically or whatever, mentally or any form, now that form has no reality as such. Because form never existed as real. Form existed with its cause, immediate cause. And when you see ultimate cause, if you see only particles of mud here, clay here, you have no pot, you have no process, nothing. Nothing happened to this pot. So we call it appearingly real. Appearingly real. It seems to be real, but it is unreal. It's called mithya, which seems to be real but unreal. It's called mithya. Mithya means not absence of object. Absence of object is called shunya. So there is no shunya, no asat, no abhava in Vedanta. There is no non-existence in Vedanta. Vedanta accepts the ultimate existence of all living beings as well as non-living beings, whatever we see. It has Sat, Chit, Ananda. The essential nature of Brahman as Satchit Ananda, that is what we see as in different forms. So this is the third experience of Aham Brahmasmi. Now, first one is normal individual. From that level, by practice of sadhana, we enter into Hiranyagarbha, universal Aham. And from there to Brahmajnana Aham. But you listen to this, you have studied this, definitely one day you will have this experience if you follow this. But one thing I want to mention here is, you see, all these stories, when you listen to this, our mind makes a form there. Because according to our learning, mind makes form and say, oh, I understood it. I understood it. Whatever Swamiji said, I understood it. Then it is gone. Again, that understanding, what you understood, become an object. When repeatedly you think that I understood this. So this is what Swamiji said. And what mind will do? Mind will make a imagination in Panchadashi. No, Panchadashi is a beautiful textbook. Actually, very good Prakarana Grantha of Vedanta. We can say the ultimate Prakarana Grantha of Vedanta is Panchadashi. So there, Vidyaranya Mahaswamiji says, there is a chance of imaginary reality. Abhasa Satyatva. Imaginary. Imagine you realize as real, but it is not real. So imaginary realization and real realization. Now we have two realizations. Imaginary realization, what I mean is, when you learn all these things, all the Vedanta in detail from a guru by Sampradaya and practice, you will have realization, Sravanakala realization. That is not real realization. It will take some time. And then also you can see, after listening to all this, after this camp, when you go back, there will be some change in your vyavahara, in your day-to-day diet, but not ours. You will be the same person and with some differences. And then that will last for 1 month, 2 months. If you are not continuing that, again, you will go back to the same attitude and vyavahara. Why? Because the power of the Vedanta, the imagination which happened in your mind, was so touching, so connecting. It stayed so long. Its effects, its reflections stayed. But slowly it will decay. No, it will go away. So to strengthen that, you have to practice intensely. After this study, every day in the morning and evening, you have to remember all this, take a textbook and contemplate on that, and whatever note you made, go through those notes and again make those thought process. Then the real reflections will come. You will understand what is happening in me. why the changes are not happening. And also you will identify these much changes are happened. I am realizing that these changes are happened. Now these are there, I have to change it. So this process will continue. So you have realization, but that is not real realization. So from imaginary realization, we will slowly, by practice, continuous practice, we will move into real realization. One day you will feel that done. So now I have no problem. So then, as Upanishads say, Ahame Vaidagum Sarvam Aham Purastad Aham Paschat Aham Uttarad Aham Dakshinada Ahameva Idagum Sarvam. So in Shakalya Brahmana, Shakalya asked Yajnavalkya, because there you know the story, I am not taking up the story. He asked in the Purva Dishi, Purvasyam Dishi, what is there in Purvasyam Dishi? The Shakalya Rishi is asking Yajnavalkya, because the debate is going on there. If you are a Brahmajnani, in Purvasyam Dishi, who is you? Which form you are there? Then Yajnavalkya says, I am there as in this form. Then he says, Paschimasyam Dishi. So he says, I am in this form. So he takes all these Digdevatas and say, I am there as those Digdevatas. So ahameva idagum sarvam. Aham suryascha bhavam. Aham manurabhavam. Aham suryascha bhavam. So Vamadeva Rishis. So this is called Jivan Mukti. Sarvatma Bhava. See, the Sarvatma Bhava is also a Ahankara. But this Ahankara, in that Ahankara, only Aham is there, no Kara. Because the activity of Aham is gone. Now the existence, the pure existence of Satchidananda remains. In all other two Ahankaras, the first one, normal one, and then the Hiranyagarbha one, there the Kara was there. Some form of activity was there. But in this, only Ahameva idagum sarvam. You see, there Ahankara idagum sarvam na. Ahameva idagum sarvam. There is no activity, there is no chance of activity, any activity. So this is what the three form of Ahankara. I think this is the subject just mentioned. I think this was, I could understand. Now, contemplate on this. Again, I pray to our Guru Parambara, all Sampradaya Gurus, to bless you all, and Kashi Vishwanath, Ganga Maya, Himalaya Bhagavan, all these Devatas, Adhisthana Devatas, they bless you for the real realization. So with these words, because there is no need to thank, there is no thank giving or such thing, but I feel very happy and glad to be here with you and communicating with you these words. So practice Sravana, Manana and Nididhyasa. So with this word I conclude. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Namah Parvati Pade Har Mahadev. Narayan, Narayan, Narayan.
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Swamiji, ரொம்ப சந்தோஷம். Namaskaram. Indeed, it was a very, very refreshing, very, very thought transforming session. I don't know, சுவாமிஜி சொன்னார் அன்னைக்கு, இந்த வேதம் வார்த்தைகள் இந்த விஷயம் எல்லாமே அபௌருஷயமா வந்துட்டு இருக்கு. இப்போ நீங்க இதை இங்கிலீஷ்ல சொன்னேன்னா, இந்த வார்த்தைகள்லாம் அவகிட்ட டிக்ஷனரியில வேர்டே இல்லையே, அந்த ஒரு லிமிட்டேஷனோட தான் இந்த இந்த பாஷையில நம்ம டீச் பண்ணணும். அதை வச்சு தான் நானும் எக்ஸ்பிரஸ் பண்ண முடியும். அகம் இதகும் சர்வம் அப்படின்னு சொன்னா அங்க சொல்லறதுக்கோ வேர்ட்ஸ் வரத்துக்கோ ஒன்றும் இல்லைன்னு சொல்லிட்டார். அதுக்கு முன்னாடி கேனோபனிஷத்துல ஆச்சாரியா சொல்றார், அபிஜானதா அபிஜானதாம் விஜானதா விஜானதாம் அபிஜானதா. சிஷ்யன் என்ன சொல்றான்? நாகம் மன்யே சுவேதேதி நோன வேதேதி இது வேதச்ச. எவ்வளோ அற்புதமான டீச்சிங், எவ்வளோ அற்புதமான சம்பிரதாயம். இதுதான் நீ இதுதான்னு சொல்லி நீ இதை தெரிஞ்சுட்டேன்னு சொன்னேன்னா திரும்பியும் அது இமேஜினரி தான் அப்படின்னு அவருடைய வேர்ட்ஸ்ல ரொம்ப கேர்ஃபுல்லா நமக்காக, தோ he knows the limitations of these languages, அதை ரெக்கக்னைஸ் பண்ணிட்டு அது ரொம்ப அழகா நமக்கு Swamiji, we used to say it's like banana, you peel it, you give it in our mouth. It is as sweet and as easy. And even for a small child, in Annaprasana, you give the small banana along with that. It is so easy without any difficulty, strain on in the throat, you just helplessly swallow. That is what I felt in recollecting this teaching. This is always a wonderful, thought-provoking thing, wonderful manana, nidithyasana of this topic. Thank you so much for helping us on this. Namaskaram, Swamiji. Ninga sonna mari, this is exactly what I had in the mind that I got from your Ashirvachanam. Thank you so much. எல்லாரும் அங்கேயே நமஸ்காரம் பண்ணுங்க.